Hey everyone, Saul from 3 Kingdoms Games here. Coming to you today with the third part of my Commander 2019 analysis. This is the deck that I put in third place out of the 4 that there has been. I've already gone over the Madness one, which is Rakdos, the popular one, which is Naya, and finally, the third one, in my opinion, though again it's a toss-up between what's third and fourth, which is usually a bad sign, is the Sultai Morph deck. Now, for those of you who don't know, Morph is a mechanic that has been under lots of scrutiny before because, generally speaking, it's an underwhelming mechanic. The way Morph works is a card with Morph can be played for 3 instead of whatever its mana costs. It's placed face down as a 2/2 token, or sorry, as a 2/2 creature. It's not a token. And then there's usually a cost associated to turn it face up, and you get usually an effect of the card when it is turned face up. Now, overall, Morph appears in 5 colors, so I don't know why they picked Sultai as the specific color combination, but that is what Wizards chose to do. Now, I frankly would have preferred any other mechanic than Morph. You know, if you gave me a Wither deck, I might have found that more interesting, but that would have been very combat-based, and we already have Populate. So they went with Morph. Now, the main commander for the deck is Cadena Slinking Sorcerer. It's a 4 CMC 3/3 Naya Wizard. The first creature you play that's face down costs 3 less. So you get to play your first Morph card for free, which actually could be huge in some cases because saving 3 mana a turn, if people don't harass your commander, is pretty strong. Then, whenever you play a face down creature, or whatever a face down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to draw a card. Great kind of draw engine mixed in with that. With Sultai colors, that's really cool because, you know, black and blue clearly need a draw engine. They don't have a million cards that draw for them anyways. And you also get, you know, access to green. So, interesting stuff. Green Morph, though, is usually creature-based Morph. Like, it's a lot more beat-down kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see where that's going to go. And this deck has the biggest example I can give you of what I have talked about through every one of my videos and will always be my biggest criticism of the commander decks. The 3 commanders they give you that are on color don't work together. Literally, first thing I'm going to tell you, if you're playing this deck, if you intend on using Cadena as your commander, take out the other legendaries. Put in anything else so it'll work better for you. Because I'm about to go over the other 2 legendary creatures, and they're not bad. They're actually really strong commanders, and I think they could be a lot of fun to build around. But they don't work as Morph. They are not Morph at all, and I don't understand it. Now, first up, the one that I know has gotten a lot of people's attention online, which it's been a while since we've gone in a version of Volrath, and that is Volrath that I'm going to be talking about. Volrath the Shapeshifter. It's a 5 CMC, 7/5. At the beginning of your combat phase, you get to put a -1/-1 counter on a creature, on a target creature. It does say target, so that way, you know, hexproof and things still affect it, but that's still pretty huge. Every turn you get a -1 counter on something. You can pay 1 mana, and Volrath becomes a copy of a creature with a counter on it, any counter. So if your opponents are playing +1/+1 counters, anything, becomes a copy of it. It is still a 7/5, and it still has the ability to pay 1 mana and switch to something else. So this can get really out of hand, I think, and could be a lot of fun to build around. Like, you can do all kinds of weird token strategies. You can make it a -1 token deck if you want to, and just happen to have Volrath be able to turn into things. Because we just recently got Yawgmoth, and, you know, there's Hapatra from Amonkhet. And the list goes on for, like, just good and negative counter enablers. So this could be a really fun way to run the deck. You can run it as a political deck if you want to. There's a lot of ways you can take this deck. And as a commander, it seems pretty solid. But you can see what I mean. It has literally 0 to do with Morph. And if you're going to tell me that these decks are based around a keyword and kind of gimmicky, then give me commanders that support that outside of just the main box commander. Because at least with the Rakdos one, you know, you had a couple commanders that had discard enabling in them. sure, Graven didn't really work for the deck, but you know, you had discard enabling in Chains and in Ange. In the Populate deck, all of them had creature-based themes. One of them created tokens itself, one of them populated, and the other one just, you know, helped you get creatures out of the way. So overall, they still kind of fit together. This doesn't. This doesn't even remotely fit together. So it's just annoying to me that Wizards is still doing that kind of stuff. Or at least give us commanders that could vaguely be used into a morph strategy, even if you had no intention of using it for morph. But these are completely polar opposites. So yeah, it's kind of still a good deck, don't get me wrong, but this is a common issue I have with most commander product. Now, finally, the commander that actually a lot of people kind of ragged on when I talked to them about this commander deck, and after looking at it closely, I think could be a lot of fun to play. And it involves playing Sultai vampires, which I think is the weirdest thing because I've never seen a blue vampire, but So that is Rayami, First of the Fallen. So I'm assuming Rayami is supposed to be one of like the first vampires ever, which is a very cool concept to me because the abilities kind of suit it. Whenever a non-token creature dies, anyone's, exile it with a blood counter on it. So right there, you hose anyone who has sack, outlet, graveyard strategy decks because you're just not letting them fill their graveyard. You're exiling all their creatures, which is huge. Now, whatever Rayami is a 4-cost 5/4 vampire to begin with. Whenever a creature is exiled, while there are creatures exiled with blood counters, Rayami gains abilities off of them. Now, the ability list that she can gain is Flying, First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. That's an amazing list if you want to build for this. So you could do something where you include all the creatures with those keywords just trying to kill them off, or selectively kill off your opponent's stuff, trying to gain those keywords as effects on Rayami. Now, this is still a creature beat face strategy, but given that you are in green, blue, and black, yeah, it's really weird though as a vampire, so I'm going to say that because I've never seen a green vampire either now that I think about it. But you could still possibly do a lot of fun things with this because you have all the removal in black to take advantage of. You have fight effects in green that you can take advantage of. You have your control effects in blue to keep your Rayami alive or draw more cards to get into things. So it could be a very interesting, weird deck. I think it would take a lot of work to build this deck, and the reason I put this deck at number 3 is because this and the one I'm going to talk about in my next video, which is Jeskai Flashback, need the most upgrades by far to make them what I consider playable decks. Now, if you'd like to know some of the upgrades I would make to this deck, please feel free to comment below and I'll let you know. As always, you can follow us on all major social media. That's in the description box below. You can follow our blogs at threekingdomsgames.com. You can always see what's going on in store, dropping into one of the stores. There's one in Markham, one in Toronto, or following us on Facebook. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are a subscriber and you haven't done this yet, click the little notification icon, the bell in the corner, so you don't miss any content as it comes out. As always, I'll talk to you next time.